It all goes down to programming. I do think we struggle more with it because thanks to patriarchy, we've been told that we're not as good as men, that we require more. Like we're not as good as them. That's what the message, that's what the programming has been for centuries and centuries and centuries. It doesn't mean that men don't have programming too, because I do believe that we are all born not knowing anything, and then the programming came. The moment we came out of the womb, there were beliefs given to us by our parents, by our caretakers, by our teachers, right, by our culture, by our religion, by our everything around us, by the media. So we absorbed all that information from ages 0 to 7, and we created a meaning about money.
Yeah.
Within those beliefs and that meaning, women, I do think the majority, again, I'm generalizing,
right,
but and there's some women that might not feel identified with this if they're one of the lucky ones that had the support in their family or in their culture or in their religion or in their background that have already done the work on this. But one of the programmings for us is that we're not as good as men with money. And here's the thing that we have to remember as women. No one is born knowing about money. Men are women. And so we have to keep reminding ourselves as women that if men could learn about this, so can women. And we can learn about this too. That is a vision that I have in my lifetime, that we need to close this. That needs to be closed. And like you started with the beginning of the interview of, I want women to be able to retire with more money because they're savvy investors, because they're talking with other women about money. They're informing themselves. They're feeling strong. They're feeling powerful. They're feeling confident having a money conversation and with what they're doing.
Yeah, and it's interesting because in the line of work that I do and on this podcast, we are talking about, midlife reinvention, like women aligning with their truth, sharing their gifts in the world. And inevitably in every conversation, the topic of money comes up. Like whenever you make a big life transition, the topic of money. It was true for me when I was doing it. The topic of money is like, oh my God, I hope I'm going to be able to support myself in what I'm doing here, right? Mm-hmm. So it is something that is top of mind.
So it's an invitation to start shifting and seeing the abundance that we do have. This is an exercise that I do with the women in one of my signature classes. It's called Money Magic Miracles, where we keep track. I call it universe cash. And what universe cash is, it's discounts, gifts, things that we get on a regular basis, and we get it daily. A friend invites you to a coffee that you were already going to pay. Write it down. That's the universe giving you the abundance. It's just not coming in the shape of money. It's gifted in a different gift wrap. Mm-hmm. It's coming as a gift. It's coming as a discount. It's coming, so that's where I'd invite everyone to start shifting your way of seeing things and say, oh my God, this past week, 3 friends invited me, one to a coffee, another one gave me a little, gift. A friend of mine was telling me that she just got a frame with a beautiful quote in it. That's a gift. That's a gift from the universe. Or maybe someone made you a meal and just brought it home for you. Those are gifts that are wrapped differently than money. So we have to have perspective with that. That's one way. And another one that I did want to talk about is the invitation to talk more about money. As women, we've always been in community. We like talking. And instead of talking and connecting about gossip or what so-and-so is wearing or what this person did or didn't do, why not talk a little bit, open up a little, be a little bit vulnerable? What things did you do right or wrong with money? Be curious, start having that conversation. Money does touch everything in this world, like you're saying, Jennifer. It's like if you want to transition, you're in your 50s, you're going into your wisdom years and you want a new life for yourself. You're going to need money for that because money does touch everything. So I see possibility as just magical things happen. You're starting to live in the flow. Opportunities come. You start feeling lucky. So if you can step into that, and again, I don't want to take away from anyone that's in a state of suffering right now, like if you're going through a divorce, if you're going through a bankruptcy, if you're going, through paycheck to paycheck, whatever it is, whatever your transition is right now, just know, like you're saying, Jennifer, that there is room for you to turn that around. Just
Yeah.
know that it's there. Allow yourself to grieve through it, because it's not all like, oh,
Yeah.
bright, shiny colors, and everything's going to be perfect tomorrow. But just it's one step at a time, and know, and just hold that space for possibility of what can show up for you. The first place is getting into alignment with your intuition and see what it is that you're desiring. Once you connect to that intuition, it's like, okay, well, what I want, if they're coming out of a divorce, or I'm wanting to shift careers, or I'm wanting to start my business when I came out from corporate, what is it that you want? Like, ask yourself that question. What do you want? What's that you're desiring in this next phase? Because then you can create that vision that you're talking about, Jennifer. Like once you create, you're connected, you're creating that space to be in silence, to listen to your intuition, to listen to your higher self, maybe journal, maybe go on a walk, maybe a silent walk, maybe do a meditation, whatever works for you, because each person is differently, but allow that space to connect with your higher self, with your intuition, and then answer that question. Maybe go into journaling. What is it that I want? What is it that I want in the next year? What is it that I want in the next 10 years? What is it that I want in this next phase of my life? What is it that I want in the next week? What is it that I want today? Like this woman that you were saying, that she wakes up and she's like, what can I learn today? Or what have I learned today? So I think that would be the first step, just follow your curiosity and connect with self, because your soul, your higher self, your intuitive side knows what the journey is, and knows what that answer that we've kind of been pushing down with busyness and with life and being a mom and, working in corporate and just, busy, doing, that we don't know. We've kind of like abandoned our dreams, our vision,
Yeah.
of what it is that we want. That's how you can start applying the principles to money, because you can say, okay, while they're hunting for profits and they're hunting for growth. And it's very like, let's bring, we're bringing the bacon home. Why not like start looking at it from the perspective of the gifts that we have and these feminine principles that as women, like, okay, let's gather with other women. Again, let's start talking about money and a community of women